Yes, that is the cheesiest intro of all time. I do get that. Hey, I worked on it for a whole 3 minutes. It is what it is. So anyways, guys, yeah, I'm doing this on the Great Debate Community channel, as you guys have noticed. This is not my main channel. There's specific reasons for that. But I'm kind of starting to branch off to try to do some different things with different people to get some new ideas and some fresh takes on things. On my main channel, I have my reviews, obviously, that I do. People send me videos, and I give you, you know, kind of my perspective on that, especially from the most objective stance possible. I think that a lot of the videos people send me, I try to give a very decent review. Steelman the argumentation, kind of explain why I think the argumentation sucks, and then go from there, right? However, on this particular show, or whatever you want to call it, that's not going to be really the case. I don't make any bones about my objectivity on certain things. I'm not going to be objective. I will always be honest. I will always give you the facts. But I will tell you that a lot of what I'm going to be going over on this particular show is my personal opinion. It is subjective. It is biased as hell because I've had some shitty interactions with a lot of shitty YouTubers. And so I figured, why not? Why not tell you guys about problematic YouTubers? And I mean, critically thinking, I mean, I'm going to like apply some standards, obviously, but show you guys some problematic YouTubers and why I think they're problematic, right? So, as you guys may know, there was a great kerfluffle going on recently with the magnificent Jimmy Snow, the savior of atheism, aka Mr. Atheist. And by the way, make sure you guys can hear me okay. I have changed some filters around. I kind of did some modifications to eliminate some background noise. So if you guys can hear me just fine, let me know. If it's too loud, not too loud, too high-pitched voice, whatever your bitch or gripe is, let me know. I will listen. I'm not Jimmy. So just tell me what the issue is. But the too long didn't read version, the too long didn't read version, let me try that again, is basically, in a nutshell, he had a issue with Rachel Oates, who used to be a friend of this channel, well, my main channel, and I don't not consider her a friend. It's just we just don't talk for a very long time. But you know, she's been a guest on the show, and I think she's a very talented, very educated, very erudite, very sagacious young lady, and I think she does an amazing job. In fact, I knew when I first started talking to her that she was going to do great on YouTube. So I was very happy that she has succeeded. Now, her and I guess Mr. Atheist had developed a friendship, and somewhere along the lines, there was a YouTuber by the name of Gabby Hannah. I don't know this person very well, nor do I care to. I have no interest in Gabby Hannah. I watched one or two of her videos. I watched what she said about Rachel Oates, and I got to tell you, no interest whatsoever. So I think this is going to be like the only time I'll even mention who she is on this particular channel. So if you're some hater of hers, you're probably not going to watch after this particular video. But she writes poetry, from what I understand, and from what I understand, not very good poetry. Well, Rachel is a professional expert on this. She's a literature expert. You know, she has a degree in literature or literary studies, from what I understand. But she does critiquing. She does it professionally, and she was asked by Gabby to critique her work. Well, Mr. Atheist, Jimmy Snow, being the white knight that he is, decided to involve himself in the review process of Rachel and decided to reach out to her in a very vague, very hard to understand message. Now, I'm not going to just show you what the message was. I don't think it really matters. But it was basically trying to, I think, intimidate her not to publish her review that Gabby had asked her to do. Now, doesn't start off reading like that. He said it was over a tweet. I guess Rachel had tweeted something along the lines that when she was doing this review, that it just was driving her nuts, that she was getting sick out of it. It was a very, you know, offhanded type remark, and things that we all do. I make comments like that all the time. You know, I'm like, hey, this guy's philosophy is so bad, you know, I want to gouge my eyes out. It was along those kind of lines. So no big deal. I mean, who cares? I mean, it's Twitter. I mean, that's so innocuous. I don't even know where to begin. Why anybody would give a shit that somebody would care that Rachel says, yeah, this is, making me want to like vomit or something. I don't remember her exact words, but it's irrelevant. But it was something to that effect. It was making her sick. So Mr. Atheist was asking her supposedly about that tweet, but it didn't read that way. It read more along the lines of he didn't want that review published. And that's not what he said. He didn't say it explicitly, so I'm not saying that he did. But it was a back and forth conversation that was very, very talking past each other. And she started drinking more and more during the discussion, and it was just going nowhere. And instead of going, hey, look, let's table this and readdress it another time, things get escalated, and it got pretty bad. So now there's this Reddit out there called Talk Freely About Mr. Atheist, I believe the name is. And in that particular Reddit, Freely Talk About Jimmy, that's what it's called, Freely Talk About Jimmy. There's an info guide on it going, what's going on about Jimmy losing subscribers, and it's very well written. I don't know this person, I have no idea who they are. I don't think I've ever talked to them, as far as I know. But according to YouTube, I talk to everybody, and everybody seems to know me. I don't know why that is, but my name's brought up. Doesn't matter what it is. Global warming, Steve's fault. Asteroid, inbound, going to strike the Earth, Steve's fault. So I don't know who this person is, but this is a very well-written article. And so what I thought about doing is kind of going over this article and explain to people how it applies to my situation and my interaction with Jimmy Snow. Those who have been around for a very long while, you guys already know what the deal is. I mean, it's second nature to them that Jimmy is just not who he appears to be, that he is all about subs. He's all about views. You are a number to him. You are not a fan. That is no question in my mind about that. I have in the video description 2 blogs that I've written about Jimmy. The first one was basically an open letter to him when my partner Kyle Curtis decided to try to steal one of my other channels. Successfully did, actually. It is now in litigation. I'm expecting well over 6-digit settlement, and there's an arrest warrant out for his arrest as of right now. He should be probably arrested any day. But he was a partner of some sort with Jimmy to try to change the direction of the channel and put it to more of a, I guess, atheist / LGBTQ plus format, and that's what Jimmy has built his channel on. Matter of fact, if you look, we'll get into the numbers here and show you about him losing subscribers. But you look when Jimmy got most of his numbers, it was back in around December 2018, December, January 2019, and that was about the time when we were doing pretty well on Non Sequitur show, and Kyle wanted those subs. Kyle noticed that Mr. Atheist was increasing numbers, and he was kind of adding him into the limelight and kind of, hey, we'll work with you here, Jimmy. Hey, Steve, play nice with Jimmy. I know you guys have some fundamental disagreements, but just, go suck them off because, you got to be nice to Jimmy. And I'm like, I'm not going to be mean to the guy, but he says some things that I just don't agree with. And I think that he's fundamentally wrong on a lot of things. And if you guys know me, I'm not one to kiss ass. And so they kind of try to, in some ways, steal the channel. And I'm not going to lay it out there that Mr. Atheist was maniacally, or I should say, manipulating Kyle or trying to do some machinations to take the channel. I don't think it was quite like that. But the fact remains this: after Kyle had removed me and the producer from my own channel because he had access to it, he has primary ownership. He defrauded, but whatever. The reason why he has that is no big deal. But when he did that, they still continued to stream to my channel and to Jimmy's channel. Now, people went to Jimmy, and this is why this is all going to kind of tie in together. People went to Jimmy and they said, hey, Jimmy, why are you still streaming to the Non Sequitur Show channel? Kyle had no authority to remove Steve. They were partners, equal 50-50. You all know this, and I know Jimmy knew this because he was around from the very beginning. We had conversations with him. We talked, about VMix calls and who had the right, who had the seats and that stuff and who was the ownership. He knew all about the partnership. That was never a question. He outright lied to his audience about it. So when people went to go ask him about that and why he was streaming and why about the partnership, he lied to his audience and he ended up blocking a lot of people. The same thing that I see what he's doing now. This is why I want to go over it. Because it's the same problematic behavior that he's exactly doing now in a completely different circumstance. But the people that do not know about the past, now are seeing things that we knew long ago. Matter of fact, if they were listening to me long ago, they probably wouldn't be in the position they are now. But the people that are reading this particular Reddit and leaving comments on Jimmy's page understand my frustration, right? So a couple things from the audience. Message to me if you got questions. I will definitely take your questions as we go. Going to Unicorn says he claimed Gabby didn't approach him, but somehow knew she was messed up anticipation. Yeah, I think it was. He said she was. Messed up somehow with anticipation. Right? They never talked to each other, which was weird. Supposedly, she said he never talked to her, and he said she never talked to him. So I don't know why he thought that somehow Rachel's review was going to affect Gabby, unless somehow they communicated this. Why he got involved, why he decided on White Knight was just astronomically stupid on his behalf. But he did the same thing when he interjected himself between Kyle and I's litigation, right? He knew Kyle was being sued. He knew that I was going to take him to court. He knew that Kyle had unlawfully absconded with $60,000 and the channel. And when I wrote my open letter to Jimmy, it was like, hey, Jimmy, you're buying into Kyle's bullshit, but I'll give you an out. And my out is, all you got to do is ask him to see the books. Show me the money. All you got to do is say, Steve, I have seen the money. I have seen the account. It has so much money in it. And you know what? I told Jimmy I believe him. Right? I told him I'd straight up believe him. I'm like, that's all you got to do is let me know there's still money there. He refused to do so. He took Kyle on faith. He literally did exactly the complete opposite what he has based his channels on, of being Mr. Atheist, looking for evidence and skepticism. No, it was, no, I'll just believe Kyle on faith because I don't want to know if it's true or not. Steve's a mean poopy head. I don't like him. So, yeah, screw him. Well, this is what happens when you are not an ethical person. And I will maintain to the day I die, Jimmy is not an ethical person. This is why I'm doing the Cesspool, to talk about people that I find to be completely grossly unethical and the reasons for it, and let you guys make your own decisions from it. That's it. So let's continue. So this Reddit, like I said, this is a really well-written Reddit. These guys have been pretty nice to me, so kudos on them. But it says, hello there. You've come here to find, if you've come here to find out what in the world is going on, I'm making this post in an attempt to fill you in on the situation, why Jimmy Snow is losing subscribers, and to try to make sure you have enough context to make an informed decision about your feelings/opinions. I want to try to make a good starting point for anyone who needs more info. Well, you know what? Got the objective right out of the way, right? I mean, it tells you exactly what this Reddit entry is going to be about. I thought that was great. Okay. Let me start by saying I'm sure none of us are really happy to be here. I'm freaking ecstatic, can't you tell? The intention of this subreddit and this post are not to bully or simply hate on Jimmy Snow. I think everyone here was at some time or some point or even still is a fan. If you have thoughts, feelings, or questions about Jimmy, please make a post, as you deserve to be able to share and discuss them. I agree with him that. And by the way, if you guys had noticed, at the very bottom, I have the space intentionally left blank. I was supposed to have Comic Nut or that creepy reading come on. I'm kind of looking for, I'm trying to get more people involved, and like each episode have a different person to come in that knows the material and talk. Neither one of them was available this time. I want somebody who has a very dark kind of sense of humor, not afraid to make opinionated statements and back them with reason. Now, again, you don't have to prove anything with your belief. You don't have to, convince anybody. You just have to get pretty good reasons, and honestly so, right? I think it's crap when people will go out and they're honest disingenuously. They'll argue things that are just false, and they know it, but they don't care. They're looking for views. That's never going to happen here. So, all right, so far so good. I mean, like I said, I really was impressed by the way this was written, and you guys can see this, right? I'm looking at my projector. Yeah, you guys can see it. All right. I love this. This is like brilliant. The short answer is Jimmy is losing subs because he is censoring his audience. He is blocking/banning anyone who speaks critically to him on any of his platforms. Now, let me note on this. There's nothing wrong with blocking people on your platforms. I do it all the time. I'll head off the darts being thrown my way right now when the people will say, well, Steve, you block. Yeah, you goddamn right I block. But I block people that are dishonest. I block people that are trolling. I cannot find one person Not one person has said, hey, I asked you an honest question, and I got blocked. If there has been such a person, message me and I'll correct that. I'll rectify that situation. But not to my knowledge has ever happened. So when people, in fact, we had a Ask Me Anything the other day with Cheshire and I on Justice Call, right? Which is a show we do at 11 a.m. Pacific time on my main channel, Steve McRae. Gotta tell you, questions were good, but wasn't what I was expecting. I thought they were going to ask much worse questions. We were ready for anything. Nothing got asked of any consequence. So, which is fine. I mean, still was a great show. But it was just kind of, I guess my audience didn't really have any questions that they wanted answering because they know for years they're going to always get the straight up facts and my opinion and no holds barred opinion. But when it comes to Jimmy, you ask him, hey, Jimmy, why did you stream with Kyle, when you knew Kyle had stolen $60,000 and Kyle was found liable for fraud in a court of law, which is a form of theft and stealing. So he was found liable. That's not just, hyperbole. That is, he was found liable for fraud, fraudulent conversion, unfair and deceptive trade practices, breach of fiduciary duty, and breach of contract. Jimmy was well aware that we had a partnership as well. So when people asked him about it, he blocked them. And there's a lot that went into that. There's a lot of people that I had messages from that had said hashtag blocked by Jimmy. Same thing that's happening now, right? So he's losing subscribers because he's literally doesn't want to have to face the consequences for his actions, and he's censoring the other people that are not answering the questions. He's inoculating them, right? He wants them separated, right? He wants to have the people that don't care and cultivate those people, the lack of critical thinkers, and wants to call the people that dare ask the questions. And you'll find that Jimmy's not the only one that does this. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say most, but I'll say a good number of the people that stream with Jimmy and associate with Jimmy are all from that same group. Many of them were co-hosts on the Non Sequitur show. They all went to Faithless Forum together. They all joined forces, and they all have that same mindset, views and ego and image over facts. And they will whitewash history. They will do revisionism. We've all seen it. Jimmy is a master of that. So what happens is he wants to block, and again, I'm going to tell you guys my opinion. He wants to block the people that ask the questions because those are the people he doesn't want around. He wants the people that don't ask the questions. Why? Because they're more gullible. That's how con men work. That's how they all work. Right? And you'll find that the people I block, they're not interested in an honest conversation. If you're interested in an honest conversation, you wouldn't have been blocked in the first place, right? So he's blocking people that want honest conversation. Matter of fact, the comments on this particular Reddit are mild. They're nothing like the shit that I've gotten over the last 2 years as far as questions. So, I mean, for him to start blocking people on that, it would make sense why people are unsubscribing and recognizing that it's all about his image and it's all about his cash flow. All right, let's see here. And no Puff Wiggly, you're not blocked on this channel. But I don't know who you are, but I've heard that you're not who I think you are, so I'm going to give you a chance, Puff Wiggly. And I'll check if you're blocked on the Steve channel, okay? The Steve McRae channel. Okay, so let's see here. And as much as it seems you want to think, because people don't like the Sometimes show, which I've never seen, which is, by the way, funny. He did have a show called The Sunday Show. I had a show called The Sunday Show. I can't say he took that from me because it's a very common name, but it's kind of odd that he took the Non Sequitur show with Kyle to stream to, and he also took one of my other shows' names too. That's a little more than coincidental. I think it was a jab at me. I can't obviously prove that, but I think it's a jab. What's the odds of him having the same name show that I've got on the line? He had a show called The Sunday Show, right? Good night, Intrigue Feline. Yes. In reality, it's because of how he's treating his fans who voice negative thoughts about his behavior, actions, words, or work, no matter how good faith or well-intentioned the criticism is. Absolutely. We saw the same thing years ago. People were just like, hey, Jimmy, we just want to know what's going on. Block. I mean, it got so bad, there was a hashtag blocked by Jimmy. It's, obviously still on Twitter if you go look. Do you guys want to see the numbers real quick before we continue? So we'll go to the Social Blade real quick. So this is the Social Blade. It looks like he's dropping about 1,000 subs every couple weeks or so. And by the way, newsflash to people. When you see rising of 1,000 at a time or falling at 1,000 at a time, it has nothing to do with buying subs. This is the way the algorithm works for the Social Blade. It truncates the last 3. So if you have 100,000 subs, it's only going to show you when you reach the next level, which is 101, 101,000 subs, 102,000 subs, 103,000 subs. So when you see these increases, oh, look, they got 1,000 subs, 1,000 subs, 1,000 subs. They're not buying subs. Stop throwing that claim out, or that, that accusation out there that people are buying subs. Buying subs. I've never seen a creator do it. I'm not saying it's possible or impossible. I wouldn't know how to do it, although I've got accused of it as well, which is absolutely ridiculous. But when you see Social Blade doing that, it's just because the way the numbers work, because they changed the way the system works. It doesn't show the whole thing any longer, right? So, all right. So who is Rachel Oates? Let me turn this off real quick. Rachel Oates is another YouTuber who makes content that is a little similar to Jimmy's older content, where she likes to discuss religious fundamentalist and conservative creators such as classically Abby or Girl Defined. I have never watched a Girl Defined video in my life. Know nothing about them. I don't think I want to. However, she has a bit of a variety in her content and liking to discuss news and hot button issues in a casual format, or to critique literature, especially poetry. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, like I said, Rachel, I was a mod on her channel for a while. She was a guest on my show. I like to think we helped her out a little bit. Now, I do recognize there has been dishonest agents that have told her, oh, Steve's taking credit for your success. No, that never happened. That's just absolutely not even remotely what I said. What I said was, when Rachel first got started, I had her on my channel, and I recognized that she was going to be a big star. I had my email to her, if I'm not mistaken. It was either email or DM. I think it was email, where I told her, you're going to be a superstar, because she had a lot of talent, right? She got where she is on her own accord. She didn't need me, but I will I'd be proud to say that I recognize that I have an eye for talent. I mean, Shannon Q, who streams with Jimmy, she had a show on my channel too that I created for her. Let's talk about you with Shannon Q. She had 10 episodes, I think. So I mean, I can spot certain people that I think that are going to do very well on YouTube based upon their interactions with people and how they articulate things and how they discuss things in a very specific niche. And I think that Rachel has a very broad niche. I think that she appeals to many different types of audiences. And I think that's probably why she has the numbers she has. I really don't know the appeal of Jimmy. I cannot figure it out. I've never found him interesting. We were basically, I don't know, friends, I guess, at one time. I mean, we'd have conversations, but I never watched his stuff. I thought it was mundane. I thought it was tripe. I thought that he didn't understand a lot about atheism. I thought he was incompetent in philosophy. And he would make a lot of statements that didn't make a lot of sense to me. And he was way too overboard trying to, invoke the whole LGBTQ plus community. I think that he basically rode their coattails using that community's combined collective power. And I find that to be rather reprehensible, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, look, if you want to appeal to a certain audience, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But do so honestly. When Kyle and Jimmy decided to make it make the non sequitur show, super LGBTQ plus and super atheist, that was not the mission statement of the show. The show died after that. People knew that, because that's not what they signed up for initially, right? There could have been offshoots of that. If they wanted to do their own stuff on a different channel together and dig in that direction, perfectly fine with that, right? But that didn't happen. All right. So who is Gabby Hannah? Gabby is another YouTuber with a huge platform and does comedy lifestyle content. She has comedy? I did not know that. I thought she sang. I didn't know she did comedy. Okay. She branched out to other mediums as well, having started a music career. Yeah, and done some acting, and has released 2 books of poetry. She is considered to be a controversial figure, especially as of late. But here we'll try to stick with what is relevant. This is a strike through. Though I do suggest looking at into her history a little more to understand why people are upset that Jimmy is defending her. Yeah, I mean, I know she's controversial. I really don't know much about her, nor do I really care. All I know is I watched a tirade from her berating Rachel, saying the most just ridiculous things about Rachel. Rachel is a straight shooter. I will tell you, I am absolutely convinced Rachel believes what she says. Whether you agree with her or disagree with her doesn't matter. She doesn't portray herself to be anything that she is not. She wears her heart on her sleeve. I don't think that's, beneficial. It's not how I do it, but it works for her, and that's how she is, right? It's not a slight. It's not a condemnation. It's not even a criticism. It's a fact. I think it's a fact. She wears her heart on her sleeve. And because of that, I think people take advantage of her, and I think people bait her, and I think people can manipulate her by saying negative things that trigger her and upset her because they know how to push her buttons. And, she unfortunately doesn't process everything the way certain other people will. They have a lot more thicker skin. Again, this is not a slight for her. I think this is actually, in some cases, something I envy. But it's not me, right? It's not, I'm the opposite. I have a pretty thick skin. But they take advantage of that. And so people like Gabby seems like one of those bullies that take advantage of those kind of people. Jimmy is one of those bullies that take advantage of those kind of people. Golden Unicorn says for 10 New Zealand. So Jimmy can make fun of theists like Girl Defined, but Rachel cannot critique a book. Oh, I noticed that as well. That's a great point, and I thought about the same thing. That he made, and I pointed this out to Cheshire, that he made videos about Girl Defined, who, again, don't much about him. But he mocks them, and I know that much, and I know he critiques them. But he shits on Rachel for critiquing a poetry book that, one, Gabby asked her to critique, and two, this is her actual expertise. Look, I've done some poetry, and I think my poetry probably sucks. And if I asked Rachel to say, hey, will you review one of my poems? And she says it sucks, I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. That's her expertise. But if she said, hey, it's okay, I'd be thrilled. Not going to have her do that, by the way. Even if Rachel reaches out to me again, I'm not going to have her ever review my poetry. But if you ask somebody to, I write arguments all the time, right? I write logical arguments, and I'm hoping to have one published eventually. I'm trying to. I'm working to have it published. The people that have read my paper, they've given me feedback on it. I've made like 125 different edits on it so far. Why would I not want their expertise? Why would I not want their criticism if I say, hey, read this paper and your expertise, show me what I've got wrong or what I can make better or blah, blah, blah. And they do. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just mad at you for saying, I got this wrong. It makes no sense. She also says, he can message Rachel worried about Gabby while ignoring Gabby's name, calling Rachel. Yeah. It was really bizarre that he just completely ignored the unprovoked tirade that Gabby had towards Rachel, calling her, every pejorative imaginable. You can, use your imagination. But it was very vitriolic with absolutely no cause. I'm not saying there are not times to be vitriolic. I'm not saying that we all shouldn't go on tirades. Go look at some of my Unleashed videos. I've done that. No big deal. But they're just. I think that every criticism I've had, every expletive I've had, probably has some backing to it that I can say this is why I'm justified to have that kind of vitriol. There are people out there I despise, absolutely morbidly, beyond despise. And if I'm a little bit vitriolic to them, okay, whatever. But Gabby wasn't like that with Rachel. They didn't have any beef that I even knew of. Matter of fact, Gabby asked her to review her book. So what was it that Rachel did that required so much vitriol? I don't understand it. But you're right, Golden Unicorn, that he based his channel on mocking other people, right? And yet anybody who dares criticize him or somebody that's associated with him, he loses his shit. And by the way, it is going to be, I can tell you right now, he will always pick the bigger YouTuber. Always, 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 always. If he can get a leg up, that's the direction he's going to go. That's all he cares about. Again, my personal opinion. Do what you will. So what's going on with Rachel and Gabby? In December 2019, this was a year-old controversy. In December 2019, Rachel decided to do a video review of Gabby's first book of poetry, Adolescence. Her review was harshly negative, but in my opinion, thoughtful and backed with reasons for her opinions that she very thoughtfully explained. That's That's her thing. She's an expert at that. She also tends to use her critiques as teaching opportunities and would compare and contrast poems Gabby wrote with poems she had felt had similar goal, feeling, theme that accomplished it to her, in her opinion, a higher standard. Yeah, that's great. I think that's a great way to review things. Say, look, I think you're going for this, but maybe you want to maybe try it this way because, here's an example of how to properly kind of use, satire, polemics, or rhetoric. There's a whole bunch of literary techniques that you can use in argumentation. Some people use them better than others. I mean, look at Christopher Hitchens. Hitchens was a master rhetorician. He was great at doing rhetoric. Wasn't that great at philosophy? I mean, he was not a great philosopher, but he knew how to argue. He was a great orator. So, I mean, it depends what you're going for, right? So I think that's great that she uses examples like that. She would then go on to explain why she felt the other poems worked better, and how Gabby might refine her own work. That's what a critic does. That's what a critic does. This wasn't without quite a few biting comments and snarky jabs, but was overall very thoughtful and constructive in nature. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Look, I critique things. People have sent me things. Hey, Steve, can you look this over? I'm not an expert in anything, but I can do certain things. I got some basic knowledge of certain things. I say, sure, look it over. I was like, man, you screw the pooch on this, man. Here, try it this way, fix this, do this, that. And they go, oh, you know what? Yeah, I should have recognized that. And they fix it. But I might get a snarky jab in every so often on some people's videos that I'm blown away that they think that they're having a good argument. And that's from the theist and the atheist side. It's actually, I've seen it on both. And people that probably I wouldn't normally have any issue with. I mean, I know some theists that, I get along great. I know some atheists that get along great. But every so often they have a video and you're like, scratching your head going, I don't think that's a really good argument, right? So, snarky jabs, no big deal. And this was, like I said, I think there was one tweet that she had, and I probably should have found it, but whatever. But it was just basically one tweet. I have it somewhere actually. But it's who cares that she tweeted out that her poetry was making her sick or something. Yippee skippy. I mean, good grief. If that's Jimmy's biggest issue, no, that's what it was. That's not even what it was. It had nothing to do with that. Let me tell you what it was. It was, Gabby has like millions of followers. I'm going to white knight for her, and I'm going to look like the bigger man on all this. That backfired on him. But that's what I believe that he was thinking. And again, I'm happy to be wrong on that. There's no way to verify that one way or another, but that's my opinion. After all that, Gabby published a second book of poems called Dandelion. And actually, I skipped something. Here we go. These videos, especially the first, were very popular with the algorithm and sparked what would grow to be a pretty heated feud between Rachel and Gabby. Rachel continued to take advantage of the attention her review had garnered, making a parody book of poems from the POV of her dog Kyra trying to poke fun at adolescents in February 2020. I guess her dog picked out random words, if I'm not mistaken, and created a poem or something like that. It was satire, it was comedy, it was poking fun at it. So what? I think that was what it was. Something similar to that. I believe sometime in early April 2020, Gabby posted a video which has since been deleted called, quote, "Time to Talk About My Bad Poetry," in which she responded to criticism about her first book, which was poorly received in general. Rachel has some thoughts about Gabby's response video, which she shares here. We're not going to get into it, but so there was a back and forth. Again, this was about a year ago. This just all went down. After all that, Gabby published a second book of poems called Dandelion and actually sent a copy to Rachel for the purpose of review. Rachel said that she deeply respected the gesture and again clearly put a lot of energy into her critique, which you can watch here. Notably, this is evidently where Jimmy got involved in the story, as evidenced by the pinned comment. So Rachel, has a very long pinned comment. I do have the entire comment. I have it right here. I don't know if I'm going to go through it because it's just so long. Maybe. Well, we'll see. I'm going to see if I get through the Reddit thing first. Might take much longer than I expected. But Rachel does have a pinned comment. She does go to explain, some of the details on it. Jason Bourne for $2. Steve, you are woefully undersubbed. Yeah, I've been saying that for 7 years, brother. Hey, look, I tried to do a poll of Jimmy, man. Jimmy said if his son sometime show didn't get 50K subs an episode, or 50K views an episode, he would not put it out any longer. If that's not emotionally manipulative, what is? So I said, hey, look, if I don't get 50K subs on this channel, I'm not doing this again. I am still, though. Yeah, that was very manipulative. That's how he is. Oh, look, man, if I don't get 50,000 views, I'm not going to bother. Man, I get 5,000 views and I lose my mind, you know? I'm used to like, 1,000, 2,000 views. I mean, some of my videos have higher. I have one that, two that's, the 70, 80,000s. I have a couple that are, 300,000, 500,000 on the Non Sequitur Show channel. But those are videos that people want to watch, right? It's all about what they want to watch. If I get, 100 views for a video or I get 10,000 views for a video, to me it's, hey, was the video worth watching? Was it interesting? Did people get something out of it? Was it informative? Was it educational? Was it entertaining? Whatever. I don't think Jimmy gives a shit about any of that. It's all about the numbers. You are a data point to Jimmy. And by the way, if there's people out there that agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. I will take your criticism one way or another. Again, just be polite. That's how you got to be. There's some people out there that are being very negative, saying some very, spiteful things that that doesn't need to happen. You don't need to be that way, right? If you say, look, I've known Jimmy for a while. He's not really like that. He does this. Okay, let's talk about it. Why did he do this, and this? Why did he lie to his audience? I have evidence he lied to his audience. Why did he, block people when people just say, hey, Jimmy, can you explain this to us? Blocked. I mean, by the way, do you guys know if you're blocked or not? How many people in the audience are blocked? I'm just curious. Put hashtag block for Jimmy if you're blocked, or just blocked or whatever. You guys never listen to me anyways. I tell you to do something, you guys do the opposite. I know how it works. Smokey say $2. Steve, you should embrace the samurai hairdo. I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. Occasionally, okay, look. Occasionally, I will wear a ponytail. I actually have hair bands. The reason being is when I'm eating, I don't like to get hair in my mouth, right? So I'll pull my hair back occasionally, but I'm not doing this man bun stuff. Jimmy tried that man bun. No, not for me. All right, so I guess I'm not going to read Rachel's thing right now. Maybe not. After this, Gabby just continued complaining about her critics, especially Rachel, with the incident coming to a head in April of this year, 2021. Here are a couple articles that explain the finer details of that if you care to learn more. Blah, 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 blah. It all sort of culminated in a big dramatic discussion about Gabby, who has been embroiled in many controversies, as I've said, but one of the most important ideas at the center of this was toxic fan bases, weaponizing fan bases, and where the line of responsibility is drawn between creators and their fan bases, which, by the way, is a brilliant topic to discuss. Because I do think that creators have some moral culpability, but limited, very, very limited. But when you antagonize your fan base, when you go out of your way to tell them your opinion doesn't matter, there's a problem. Now, I have done that with very specific people, but they're not my fan base. Trolls that come over, I'm like, I don't give a shit what your opinion. You're not my fan base. You're not somebody I care to have an argument with or a discussion with, or even value your opinion, because all that they want to do is cause discord. I'm not interested in that, right? But when people weaponize their fan base, we see that happen all the time. Matter of fact, again, look at the people that surround Jimmy. A lot of them have done that. They weaponize their fan base. Oh, you know what to do? Go out there. Go attack that creator. Go tell that creator, blah, 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 blah. And then what's worse is they turn around and say that other creators are doing that. And yet when you ask them for evidence of that, they never seem to have it. Or they take something completely out of context. All right, I remember one time, like with Sherelle, people were saying that I sent a whole bunch of Steve's troops and armies over to Sherelle's channel. Like 95% of every comment on there didn't know who the hell I even was. I'm like, I have a crappy army. But what I did was I was like, hey, yeah, if Sherelle wants to do a collab, let her know. That was it. That was like the whole thing. I was like, fine, I'll do a collab with her. We had Sherelle on the channel with Cheshire and I. But that turned into, oh, look at Steve flooding Sherelle's comment section. And yet every time the haters came over to Sherelle's channel and started talking about me, most of the comments on there were like, who the fuck is Steve? They didn't care. It's like ridiculous. So yeah, I think there's something to be said about the weaponizing of fan bases. Absolutely. And toxic fan bases. Because if you guys have watched Caffeine Corner, Cheshire and I have explained on multiple occasions things that deal with toxicity. And when you have a fan base that you cultivate that are emotionally led individuals that are easily emotionally manipulated, and I think Jimmy's audience to a large degree is, I'm not saying them all, I'm not trying to say all his fans are like that, but he does cultivate people that are very emotionally led, not necessarily a bad thing, but I think they can be manipulated pretty easily because of emotional argumentation, and Jimmy's a master at that, like any con man is. So he cultivates those people, and then he calls the critical thinkers. Same thing that I've seen from content creators that surround Jimmy. They will cultivate the people that don't want to be skeptical. They don't want the evidence. They don't want the facts. They live in an alternative reality because all they do is sit around and watch reality TV. And then that's their reality. Anything you say to them becomes their reality. They take it as gospel. They take it as fact. They take it on faith. It doesn't matter what the reality happens to actually be. It doesn't matter what the verticality is. It doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is, oh, somebody said this, therefore it must be the case. Then they buy into it. Just like Jimmy tried to do with Kyle. Oh, I believed a friend. Well, yeah, but you could have verified it. You could have verified the funds there. You could have verified that that he had the right to kick me off the channel, like you said. But no, he didn't, right? Becky Cage says, I can't be blocked since I unsubbed from his channel after I saw his BS with Kyle 2 years ago. By the way, I gotta give you a mod. I don't know why you don't have a mod on this channel. Yeah, exactly. So, Smokey Sate. Oh no, I'm sorry, I already did that one. There's something to be said about this particular argument about why people have toxic fan bases. And then what's worse is like they'll say like my fan base is toxic. Really? I gotta tell you, the people in my audience, the people that have been around my channel since 2013 are some of the nicest, coolest, amazing people I've ever met in my entire fucking life, in real life or online. And there have been people that have been around for 7 years. So, yeah, I mean, I do cultivate and I do cull. I cultivate the critical thinkers. I cultivate the people that have integrity and honesty. And I cull the trolls and the manipulators and the dishonest people. This is why I didn't get along with Jimmy and other co-hosts of the Non Sequitur Show. They all had that same mentality. They all were dishonest. They were all manipulative. They were all liars. They all only cared about themselves. They were all egotistical. They were all narcissistic. Every single one of them. Think about it. Go look at the Non Sequitur Show and look at the co-hosts that Kyle brought in. Every single one of them have these traits. That is not coincidental. That is not a coincidence. I absolutely assure you of that. So, let's see here. But yeah, no, like I said, that is a great topic to discuss. Here are a couple videos about the most recent Gabby Hannah mess. And then whatever they are. By the way, is it Hannah with an H or is it without an H? I don't even know. I thought it was without an H. Essentially, Gabby would tell her millions of fans that Rachel was a bitch and a bully. And Rachel received a torrent of abuse from them even after she stopped making content about Gabby at all. Now, let me be very clear here. There is no way in hell Rachel would have a troll army or an army of toxic fandom do anything to Rachel, to Gabby or anybody else. Gabby saying that she was being bullied by Rachel and that Rachel's a bitch and a narcissist or whatever the word she was using was absolutely projection, 100% projection. And this is what a narcissist does. They project that kind of stuff. And for having millions of subs, picking on somebody like Rachel, who she knows wears her heart on her sleeves, that doesn't have the ability to fight back. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Rachel, but Rachel's not hardcore. Rachel's not tempered. Rachel's not hardened. Right? She's not a Cheshire, right? Okay, Cheshire can take the slings and the arrows and the darts and the verbal abuse and throw it right back, right? I mean, she's pretty good at that. I'm pretty hard when it comes to that. But Rachel's not. That's not her thing. Nothing wrong with that. But Gabby and those like her recognize that. They will bully those kinds of people and they'll project their issues onto the other people. Oh, look, that person is the bully. That person is the narcissist. That person is the aggressor. That person is the toxic one. Every single time. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. Go look at Jimmy and all the people. Well, I'm not going to say all. That's too generalistic. But a lot of the people that are associated with him. I would say all of the co-hosts that were co-hosts on the Non Sequitur Show with him, all of them have that ability. That's for sure. So, All right. Jimmy Snow's statement. On June 16, 2021, Jimmy uploaded this video addressing the Rachel Gabby situation. I have actually watched that video, but I watched it on Fat Sajak's channel. She did an amazing breakdown of it. Highly recommend you watch it. I was kind of hoping she would do a collab with me at some point. She knows who I am, but she doesn't seem interested, which is fine. Doesn't matter. She had a really good video. Here is an alternate upload in case he deletes or privates the original. He's pretty known for that. He has deleted videos, but I don't think he deleted the other one. It is important that you... I think he did turn off the comments, though. Right? In fact, let's click on it. What the hell?
Hi there.
I don't want to play too much. Yeah, he did turn off the comments. Yeah. And the like dislike, which, by the way, sometimes you have to do. I have videos that I've turned off comments. I have videos that I've turned off likes and dislikes, but with reasons. I don't think he has sufficient reason to, but that's his prerogative. It is important that you watch this yourself to know what you really think about what he said, why and how he said it. I know many people might have skipped this one because it's long, or they might have not have any interest in it. But it is important if you want the full picture. I agree. It's okay if you don't want to, but this is the big thing people aren't happy with him about right now. It's a big thing they're being censored and putting in their 2 cents on, and hopefully the previous info gives a little insight about why they care about it. No, I think it does. As a matter of fact, it is a long video, and Fat Sajak's video was even longer. I had to watch it on 1.5 speed to 2 times speed, and I watched it twice. If you have had thoughts and feelings about this video and you want to voice directly, you might have noticed that comments are turned off, and as are the likes dislikes. Yes, they are, because we just checked. Let's see if I can click on that. Addressing this, but I'm not pleased that I even need to. The proof that the narratives about me are bogus bullshit was already out there, but here's the breakdown. I just want to get back to making my show, but this has become too much of a distraction and interference. Now, break this down from a narcissist point of view, from an egotist point of view. Everything you'll find is about Jimmy. It's all about Jimmy, as how it affects Jimmy. It affects his cash flow, it affects his views, affects his numbers, affects his relationships. It doesn't matter. It's all about Jimmy every time. Even when he had a half-ass apology about streaming to the Non Sequitur show and believing Kyle, it was all about Jimmy, how it affected him, how hurt he was by Kyle, how he lost a friend of Kyle. But fuck Steve. Doesn't matter. Steve was a poopy head. Yeah, Steve deserved to get his money, but yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter that Kyle lied. Doesn't matter that other co-hosts were, saying that Steve committed fraud. Steve wanted to get paid on the table. All this other bullshit that Kyle came up with when he realized he didn't have the money to pay me and try to figure out a way to get me off the channel. That didn't work out too well for him. But Jimmy was aware of all this. But it's all about Jimmy, right? This is distraction. You guys are just distractions. Stop asking me questions. You know what? Have an AMA. Have an open mic. Say, what do you want to know? We do it all the fucking time. Matter of fact, this channel is a catch-all channel for that kind of stuff. We do things on this channel all the time like that. But he won't. He doesn't want to be asked those kinds of difficult questions. So what he does, he shuts down the conversation and calls it a narrative. By the way, that was a word that I started using. I think everybody kind of caught on. But there's nothing bogus about it. I watched his video. What people have said about his video, I agree with. What Fat Sajak had said about his video, I noticed as well. It was very manipulative. It was very disingenuous because it was taking things woefully out of context between what Rachel was understanding and what he was understanding, and they were talking past each other, and he was just trying to save some face and trying to spin it in a way that he wasn't the bad guy for getting involved in the conversation and getting involved in a situation that he shouldn't have been involved in to begin with. This was, to my surprise, supposedly not originally the case, as I thought it might have been due to the sensitive and personal nature of the topic. Many have said that they have left critical comments only to come back and find that not only was the feedback disabled, but they have been blocked by Jimmy, and all of their comments and on any of his videos were no longer visible. How do we know that? Well, I can tell you how you know that, because he did the same thing to most of my audience. When they had asked him about the Non Sequitur Show thing, he did the exact same thing. Matter of fact, fun fact, I think most of my audience knows this, but fun fact, a friend of mine by the name of Astronomy Live, who is a actual computer programmer, not a pseudo one, not one that claims to be, but somebody who actually does program proficiently in Python, wrote a script in Python to do API calls to catch comments that are deleted. There was so many comments deleted from Non Sequitur Show by Kyle and the other co-host and the moderators that he had set up to prevent people from asking him questions like, where's the money? Why did you take the channel? Why did you kick off Steve? Why did you kick off the producer? Why did you screw over the fans? He had so many comments deleted that the API call timed out. You only allowed a certain amount of API call inquiries. It was so many comments being deleted, it couldn't catch them all. But they are caught. They're on a Discord server as we speak. Right now, there's a Discord server that Astronomy Live has that has a huge amount of comments that have been deleted. Kyle was doing that. Jimmy was doing it on his end as well. Now, I don't know if the chat bot comment collector, or whatever the hell he called it, was set up for Jimmy's channel. I know it was for the Non Sequitur Show channel, but I'm not sure if it was for Jimmy's. But Jimmy was deleting comments, right? So, all right. Rachel's response to Jimmy. 3 days after his video, Rachel made a statement in regards to Jimmy in her community tab. It's lengthy, but here's the whole argument stitched together. It is lengthy. I don't think I can read it. My voice is already starting to go, but I highly recommend you guys go read it. Again, this is at freelytalkaboutjimmy.com. It's in the video description. After this is done, don't do it right now. You're watching a video, but afterwards, go read her very lengthy response. I think it's something that really does explain her point of view on it. And I do believe her. I think that she was mystified in some ways of what the hell Jimmy was talking about, that she was not understanding what Jimmy was trying to say. Jimmy was very unclear in his initial contact with her. He tried to make it spin. It was about a tweet that she had. No, she was making it clear about, hey Jimmy, I'm going to put out my video on what she asked me to. I'm doing a critique, blah blah blah. And then Jimmy's like, I never asked her not to do that. Well, yeah, but Jimmy's not reading into it the way that she was thinking the conversation was going. And I can understand that, because I read the conversation the same way Rachel probably would have understood it as. And so he should have just said, look, I understand how Rachel could have thought this way. I didn't mean it that way. I'm going to talk to her and apologize. But he didn't do any of that. He doubled, tripled, quadrupled down, and then told his audience, fuck you. He basically said, look, I don't care. I'm going to defend, Gabby. Doesn't matter. She's the bigger YouTuber. She's the one. He even said me and Rachel were so close. Like, I only talk to Gabby a couple times a year. Then why the hell are you defending Gabby and of all this when Rachel did nothing wrong? Somebody, please tell me what the hell anybody thinks Rachel did wrong in this situation, because she's second guessing herself. She actually, in some things she has said, she seems to have second guessed whether she could have done things differently. And I understand that mindset to do that. I really don't think it's always appropriate, but I get it. But when it came to this particular situation between her and Gabby, can somebody tell me what they think Rachel did wrong? Because if there is something, I would like to know what it is. I can't think of it. Even if you don't think it's the case, what is other people saying? What is like Jimmy saying that he thinks she did wrong? Skyman says he deleted mine and many others I could see. Well, there you go. Yeah, like I said, had people listened to me 2 years ago about Jimmy, they wouldn't be in this situation, right? I mean, most of you guys even saw it yourself. What people were being deleted by Jimmy and Kyle and again, I'm not saying Jimmy had a conspiracy with Kyle to steal $60,000. I don't think that at all. But I do think he knew that Kyle didn't have the money. I do think he didn't care. I do think that I know for a fact he knew that we were partners, and that Kyle had no right to take me and the producer off the channel. That I know. And he lied to his audience saying, well, I believe Kyle had the ability to do so. That's an outright lie. 100%, no question about it in my mind's eye, a lie. But can I say that he conspired with Kyle to steal $60,000? No, and I don't think that's the case. But he sure the hell didn't care. And go read my open letter to him and other content creators. None of them asked Kyle. Every one of them that supported Kyle, every single one of them, not one of them thought to themselves, hey, I can insulate myself right now just by saying, hey, Kyle, I believe you, but I want to be able to say to people I've seen the money. This is what I do with Cheshire and Reds and everybody else. I know they trust me and I trust them, but I want them to be able to say what they've seen and not see, right? So they don't have to ever lie to anybody. They can say, look, Steve's never shown me this, or Steve did show me this. I've seen this, right? So why couldn't they just ask him? None of them cared. None of them cared. Now then, here are a few interesting comments I noticed on Rachel's community post for a very small sample taste of response to his video. I would have gotten some comments from his video, but well, I can't, can I? And this one says, and I know it's cut off and I apologize, but I'll read it to you. Honestly, it looks like Jimmy's video was a cash grab. Shocker. Wow. Comments are off because he couldn't take the criticism. He can't. His ego can't take it. He's very, very thin-skinned. The video didn't even have to be made at this point if he isn't into poetry and never watched a video. And that was a big thing. I don't care that he's not into poetry. Okay, I happen to like some poetry. I love Shakespearean sonnets and iambic pentameter, and Robert Frost. I like some poetry, but he never watched her video on her critique. He never bothered to watch any of Rachel's stuff, even though he was so close to Rachel, but he didn't watch any of her videos. I thought it was kind of odd. I watched Cheshire stuff. I watched Cheshire's stuff. Maybe not religiously, not everything that she does. Like some of her gameplay, I don't really watch. I might. But when on the more important things, I tend to watch them. Why? Because she's my friend and I like her content. Right? But he never bothered to watch Rachel's. Not once. Plus, Gabby is in a disgusting scandal now, being a rape apologist, which he doesn't mention. I've heard stuff like that. I don't know what that entails. I don't know the details on it. I don't think I care to know, so don't bother me really telling me. It doesn't matter. I'm not have any interest in Gabby. Never going to talk about her again after this anyways. So Rachel, or at least I hope not. Rachel, please take care of yourself, and the internet will be here when you get back. There you go. And Rachel does need to take some time for herself. She was going through a lot of shit at that time too. I know that she was going through a separation. She had just got done dealing with some other crap that I kind of was tangentially related to, and I was defending Rachel left and fucking right. Not because she was somebody that I cared about as a friend, but she was in the right again, and people were, harshly coming after her. Let's see here. I know it's cut off, but I'll read it to you again. Jimmy wouldn't even watch your review. The video he put out was pretty ridiculous. I could barely hold interest in it because the whole time I couldn't stop thinking, what is your point? What do you have to make a video? What do you have to make an hour video about it? Well, why do you have to make an hour video about it? You didn't even see what the video was, and you're messaging her that is hurtful. Exactly. I don't know who this person is, but that nails it. He messaged Rachel, not even watching her video, not knowing anything about her critique, saying that, oh, Gabby was, hurt by this, and she was, having issues with it. Well, then let Gabby deal with it. Who the fuck are you, Jimmy? Why are you white knighting for her on such a situation that you had no business getting involved with? And Gabby said she didn't even ask you to. I mean, maybe if she would have asked you to, I kind of understand, but why would she? People don't ask me to get involved in things unless there's absolutely a reason to. Matter of fact, most people tell me to stay the fuck out of things. I do. But I don't know why he got involved in that situation. It makes no sense, except that the only thing that makes sense to me is that he was trying to suck up to Gabby because she's got 2-something million views or subs. That's it. It's all about numbers, and that makes sense if you look at things from a egotist or a narcissist point of view. What is their driving force? What is their motivator? It is numbers, views, and mostly attention, right? And that's what views translate into. It translates into attention. And there's nothing wrong with wanting views. We're all YouTubers. But you notice, hey, look, I'm not super high up there. I never have been super high up there. Why? Because I don't do the shit that they do to get super high up there. Because I'm not going to, because that's not who I am. They don't care about that. Jimmy and those people that are on that side of the fence, none of them, I think, have ethics. None of them. Some portray themselves to be. But anybody that streams with Jimmy at this point going forward, I do got to question their integrity. I do got to question their efficacy. I mean, I don't know how you could. I just don't know how having somebody like Jimmy who's so toxic that would basically support Gabby and shit on Rachel for no reason and didn't even do his due diligence, didn't do anything a skeptic is supposed to do. I mean, he's the antithesis of what I consider to be a critical thinker at that point. He advocates for people to not be treated. And by the way, I want to make this very clear. I do know some people that stream with Jimmy or at least associate with him that I have no issue with. And I'm not saying that they're unethical, but I do think they need to reevaluate things. I will say that. But I mean, a couple of them, they're good people, but very few. The rest, not so much. He advocates for people to not be treated wrongly and manipulated, and then turn around and said, quote, I don't really mind being friends with narcissistic manipulators, though. And I don't care if anyone has an issue with that either. No. One word, Kyle. Kyle was or still is a narcissistic manipulator. I think everybody recognizes it by now. I mean, he lied to the court. He's looking at perjury, possible embezzlement charges, submission of altered evidence charges. He literally has a warrant out for his arrest right now for both civil and criminal contempt of court. He submitted fraudulent financial records. I mean, you've got to be a hell of a narcissist to think you're going to get away with lying to the court, that you're going to get away with forging documents, and then under deposition say you didn't forge anything. My lawyer had asked him very specifically. The ramifications if you lie under oath. Did you forge any of these things? Did you forge your boyfriend's signature? Absolutely not. Did you change the bank statements? Absolutely not. Those were all lies. We know they're lies. We have the originals. They're not the same. And if you notice, Jimmy doesn't. It's not more than Jimmy just doesn't care about being friends with narcissistic manipulators. He cultivates them. He wants those people around. Those are the people that he's friends with. He won't look into Gabby's drama or anything. My judgment of him definitely decreased even more than it already had with some of his responses to other things. That's not really that bad of a comment. I mean, like I said, that's at least pointing out the issues and addressing it. It wasn't directly, to something about Jimmy that was, trollish. It was, hey, look, you have said this. You have said that you have no problem with narcissistic manipulators because you are one. By the way, like I said, this was a very well-written Reddit. So whoever did this, props to you, man. Jimmy's video was awful. I'm not sure why he made it his business to defend Gabby against something he wasn't even interested in and knows nothing about, but it was a bad move. I could end it right there. That's a brilliant summation. I mean, that doesn't even get any clearer than that. That is exactly what I thought in all this as well. Again, don't know who this person is, but they freaking nailed it. Jimmy had no business involving himself, especially in something he knew nothing about. He didn't even rewatch the review. He didn't know the criticism. Bad move. Exploratory Minds Project for 10 pounds says, the new look definitely suits you, Steve. Thank you. Hope everyone is well. I have a way overdue upgrade for vids going forward. No more freeze dance frames lost. Yeah, I know you're having issues with that, man. If you need you probably got it figured out, but if you need some assistance with some frame rate issues, let me know. I'm going to be doing things myself. As you guys know, I'm going to be leaving town very shortly, next week. I'll try to stream when I'm on the road, but I'm going to be all over the place. So I'm going to be in Atlanta, I'm going to be in Dallas, I'm going to be in Boston, I'm going to be in Ontario. So I'm going a lot of different places. So, but I'm still going to have to obviously put out product. I am a YouTuber, but I'm going to try to do some stuff on the road. I want to do interviews with people, and I want to do live feeds. And but yeah, so if you guys try to message me and I'm not getting back to you as quickly as I normally do, then you know why, because I'm only really going to have this with me, my little Nexus. So, all right. So the fact that he was so ready to defend Gabby from your tweets, but wouldn't do the same for you when Gabby began her tirade against you speaks volume to the reality of this supposed close friendship. Yeah, I mean, so close a friendship, right? And I still can't believe that he continues to use his past defense of you during an especially traumatic time against you. Yeah, that's bullshit too, right? Oh, well, I mean, I was there for Rachel, and I mean, you know, she's had some trauma, blah, blah, blah. Look, trauma's not fucking tea. Trauma's not your stepping stone to increase your viewership. And I'm really sick of people using trauma that way. This is a terrible friend. I'm so sorry you've had to experience this. Absolutely right. Again, I don't know who this person is, but right on. I used to really trust Jimmy as a credible content creator, but I'm really doubting that I'll ever watch him again after this. I stopped. I don't think I ever watched his channel, but I stopped dealing with him when I realized he was so dishonest, and that when I literally saw him lying to his subscribers, lying, not just manipulating, not just changing the truth, outright lying to them. I can't deal with that. I just can't. My supporters would crucify me. It's people that may not be familiar with this channel or my main channel. My mods and my subscribers and my members, they go out of their way to find shit. They're like, oh, what does Steve fuck up on today? And sometimes they actually do find shit, right? But it's never like I was wrong on purpose. It's not like I lied to anybody. It was like, oh, I made a mistake. I correct it. That's a game with them. It's fun. We all play along. Yay. I don't think Jimmy can handle things like that. I happen to cultivate smart people, okay? I don't have a lot of dumb followers. And I think he does. And again, I'm not trying to shit on his fan base. But the ones that stick around him and those he has associated with that allow this type of behavior, I have no respect for. And by the way, like I said, thank you for I like the new look too. When I'm going out of town, I think it made me look pretty. I'm gonna hit some clubs. So Min for $2. Hey, my friend, make sure you eat well while you're on the road. Oh, brother, I've got this plan to a T, bro. Sidetrack real quick. I'm going to be having North End pizza, having cannolis. I've got some Chinese place I want to go. I got it to this oyster bar that I want to go. I, for the last year, have actually saved some funds up strictly for a vacation. And I couldn't go on it before. And I said, after this damn thing is lifted, I'm going to take a vacation and I'm going to eat. Because I've been dieting and I'm like, I'm going to freaking eat. So yes, my friend, I'm going to eat very well. That's all I give a shit about is visiting friends and eating. So yes, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. And even more interest to why he's losing subscribers. Pastel Kitten. And again, I apologize for being the cutoff. I can't really adjust it on the fly, I don't think. No, that doesn't work. Sorry. I've been a big fan of Jimmy's channel since his second video. By the way, you were treated in the situation was unkind, and I'm so sorry. These are directed towards Rachel. Please take care of yourself and know your mental health comes first. Give your baby dog some hugs. As for Jimmy, he turned off the comments to that video and banning anyone who dares mention they disagree with his actions, even though they are kissing his ass while doing so. Like people who are being super generous and not, quote, calling him out are getting blocked on Twitter and other accounts, banned from his subreddit, and turned off the likes and dislikes ratios on that video. As a former longtime fan, I'm so disappointed in his actions. And again, these are not trolls. These are constructive criticisms. People are, again, going to say, and you'll see it, Steve's a hypocrite. He does this all the time. Everybody who knows that I delete comments, it's from people that are shitty people, that are not interested in engaging in honest dialogue. I'll give so many people chances. People seen on Twitter, hey, okay, this is your claim. What's your evidence? Okay, you're still not giving me evidence. What's your evidence? No, that's the claim. Where's the evidence? Oh, you know it's out there. No, I don't know it's out there. I've never seen it before. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Show me what you're talking about. Oh, you're lying, Steve. Okay, then show me that I'm lying. Well, you know you're lying. No, I don't know this. Give me the evidence. And it's just a vicious cycle. Finally, I say I have enough. I'll either mute them or block them or ignore them at that point. But I give them opportunities. People witness this happen all the time. Again, it is like a game. My followers love that game. Oh, you have a claim? Show us the evidence.
I thought skeptics were supposed to do that. I thought that was a big thing with the atheist community. Right? Evidence. Where's your evidence? But no, the people that follow Jimmy, it seems, and again, the people that associate with him, evidence is irrelevant to them. What they want to see is a good story that they can buy into. Again, it's reality TV in a nutshell. So, Jen says, "Cool, I like road trip stories." Yeah, I hope to have a few. I really do. I'm looking forward to this immensely. I'm already packing tonight. I've started packing, so if I don't think I'm gonna have another stream between now and when I leave, because I leave this weekend. I'm a longtime fan of Jimmy's, and I've been so disappointed at his behavior toward Rachel. His comment section was almost unanimously expressing respectful disappointment from his fans. And then what did he do? He turned off comments. That made me instantly lose respect. And again, I'm not saying there's not time to turn off comments. I've had to on a few videos here and there, only because they were being inundated by trolls. You guys remember back, like, for example, with the Creepshow art things? She had her whole audience come over and just spam the shit out of my videos. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Look, I don't care about okay, boomer. That wasn't the point. My point was there are actual comments in this video, and they're being inundated by these teenagers coming over going, okay, boomer. And so I blocked a lot of people. I blocked anybody who said that. Wasn't that I was mad or upset? I didn't give a shit. But it was cluttering. It was trollish. Those are not people that are leaving honest comments. And then I filtered it out, obviously. But once I figured out how filters work. But that was Creepshow's art. It's toxic fandom. She had a very toxic fandom. And I warned people about that as well. Hashtag nobody listened to that either. But of course, there was instances with Creepshow art and Jimmy as well. I don't know their relationship, but there was something there. I just don't know what it was. This is where I first saw that he is deleting negative comments everywhere. He's censoring anyone that challenges him. I hate that. Look, I'm the opposite. If you got to challenge me, I'm not only going to not censor you, I'm going to put you on as a guest. Go to my main channel, Steve McRae, if you're new to this channel. I just had a guy on Holando, who had been messaging me for a very long time on one of my arguments, the weak atheist special pleading argument. And he thought he had a foolproof way of defeating it. I'm like, oh, shit, great. All right, let's do it. Invited him on. Within about an hour, he's like, back to the drawing board. But that was fun. I enjoyed that. Matter of fact, we got more further in most criticisms than I've had before for that particular argument. I was very impressed that he actually understood the argument, and he did a great job trying to assail it. But he has some flaws. But I don't think Jimmy wants that. Jimmy doesn't want his arguments critiqued. Jimmy doesn't want his argumentation examined. And I know this for an absolute fact because, again, going back to the square one, it all goes back to the whole atheism thing. He disagreed with me on atheism. So what? I was able to show that what he was putting out was wrong. But he was sucking the teat of the atheist community of Austin, sucking the teat of Matt Dillahunty and Aaron Ra and American Atheists and all those groups. And again, I got nothing against Aaron Ra, except that I think he's philosophically illiterate. But he's a decent guy to me. He just won't talk to me because he knows I can point out his mistakes, his misunderstandings, I think are a better term. But Jimmy didn't care about that. Jimmy was all about who can I kiss their ass in order to promote myself. That's why you've never seen me on those channels, because I'm not going to do that. So maybe I don't have the numbers, but I goddamn tell you, I have far more integrity in my little finger than Jimmy Snow and any of the people that have associated with him. Again, some exceptions. Or I don't want to be general. People are going to say, oh, well, Steve, not all of them are like that. That's true. There are a few people that still are friends with Jimmy that I have a lot of respect for. It doesn't matter who. But they know who they are, and let's leave it at that. I was reading the comments and saw someone asking why he was losing subscribers. So I dipped my toe in the water and just insinuated that something was wrong and posturing myself as a threat in saying what it was. And by the way, Ash Scott, I thought you would have joined for this. You asked me, because I said I wanted kind of a dark co-host for this particular episode, comedy, something. And she asked how dark, and I said any darker than Ash Scott, I would probably get a TOS violation. She's dark, but she didn't want to come on, so.
By the way, this is more my natural hair color, believe it or not. This is what it originally was like. But I toned it down a little bit. So it's not as dark as it was before. So Jimmy, why are you losing subs? That's the whole question of the hour, isn't it? I know why, but unfortunately, he'll evidently block me if I tell you. Ouch. Wait, he's blocking people for speaking the truth? Oh my, how the tables have turned. He can't take criticism from his audience, so he silences them instead. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. That's pretty messed up. You should always be willing to take criticism, especially from an audience. Absolutely, especially when you survive off your audience. If it's fair criticism, right? And I have to emphasize that there are people that give bad advice. There are people that give non-productive, shitty criticism. And again, criticism does not have to be positive. I completely hold the position that criticism can just be bad criticism. Or negative criticism. I don't mean bad as like bad advice, but I mean negative criticism, right? It doesn't have to be positive. Criticism is criticism. I can say, look, your proof here, it sucks. You know, your argument here sucks. That's negative criticism. I'm justified to say that if I really think that. Okay. Now, I would like to explain to a person why, but you don't have to. It's still criticism. Right? Not everything has to be a positive criticism. Well, I think you could do better here. I think you worded this wrong here. Look, Cheshire and Tree Feline and a whole bunch of people read a lot of the shit that I write first, and they say, hey, you need to fix this. You got an error here. And I fix it. And then Cheshire says, you missed 1,000 comments, and she just wants me to put it. Swear to God, if she tells me she wants a comment like every other word. It's like, I don't know how Canadians learn English, but she's weird with commas. I don't get it. I'm like, I use commas to separate clauses, right? And you know they have to like flow, and so she loves her commas. But the point being is that you have to be able to take that kind of criticism. That's why you ask them to proofread shit, right? So, anyways, I didn't even Cheshire's out there. I just see her message me. Didn't Jimmy refuse to debate Reds at some point? I do not know. I don't recall. I gotta tell you, I have a pretty decent memory for most things, but certain things I couldn't give you an answer one way or another, and I don't speculate if I can't. So I do not know, Chesh. More commas. See, she's a comma whore. See, I don't know what the hell it is. It's every time I write something, you need more commas, Steve. You missed a comma. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna use a semicolon just to piss her off. Watch her go. You want to troll Cheshire, throw in a semicolon. There you go. But make sure you use it correctly. Shortly after this, the comment thread was deleted, and I was indeed blocked from his channel. Shocker. Wow, I could not guess that. I did not see that one coming. I left another comment, asked my friends and boyfriend if they could see it, and they couldn't. And that's just my confirmation. The whole subreddit exists because of and is filled with more people he's silenced for saying what they think. And this is in bold. He's manipulated his audience and trying to control the narrative. Absolutely. And once again, he is not the only one that does that. Him and a lot of problematic YouTubers do that. And a lot of people that associate with him do that. It goes completely against the principles he says he stands for because he's a hypocrite. It shows a complete lack of integrity because he has no integrity. And I'm serious. I don't think he has a shred of integrity. I think he would sell his mother if it got him a leg up. And a hell of a lot of hypocrisy. Yeah, there you go. And the Century doesn't seem to be really the only instance of shady, contradictory behavior from him either. But I'll leave that to you to learn more about from other people's posts here if you like. And fair enough. Wow. Copy pasta comment. My intent with this is not to harass Jimmy, but to let people know something isn't right since he's going out of his way to hide that from people and control what he wants their image of him to be. Exactly. All about image. And by the way, anybody who says they're being harassed, they can kiss my ass. Anybody on that side can. None of them are being harassed. They want to see harassment, go talk to Cheshire. She has documentation. I have documentation galore of people that have harassed me and people that I care about. Some of the things I have not even told you about it. And I don't think I could bear myself to even tell. How duplicitous and how disgusting, how to the point of being subhuman, what some people have done to people that I love. That's harassment. They don't know the meaning of that word harassment. They have never been harassed by me, by Chesh, by Manya, by Jared, by anybody that I know. They have never been harassed. I detest people that go out of their way to troll and harass people. I'm the antithesis of that. And yet, if people really knew how bad myself and the people that I love who have been harassed over the last couple of years, they would never speak to somebody like Jimmy. They would never speak to anybody that Jimmy associates with. If you had a shred of humanity, you wouldn't deal with any of those people. And again, I'm not faulting people that do, because most of them don't know and they haven't lived what I've lived through. I get it. I do. I can't fault them for that. That would be unfair. But more and more things come out, like things like this, and they still, support people like that. Yeah, then I got an issue with that. I think Cheshire is right on that. At that point, you can probably say, oh, wait a minute here. You have enough information now to make a conscious decision of, is this person what you think they are? Is this person, a hypocrite? Is this person lying and manipulating their audience? Yeah, absolutely. By the way, you can tell when I actually get some, anger, because it's just, I can't talk very well. I'm glad I know about the way he's been acting now, and disappointing as it is, because it's not the sort of behavior I personally want to support, and think everyone in this community deserves the same. If you want to spread the word but feel a little overwhelmed or anything like that, here's a comment I wrote. You can slap anywhere you like. Though beware, if it is on one of his platforms, he will definitely delete it and block you. But I hope that a few people who have been wondering what's going on will see it and come here before he does. I don't know. Oh, reveal spoiler. Are you wondering why Jimmy is losing subscribers? Find out what he doesn't want you to know. He's been deleting comments that even mention it or disagree with him, and is blocking and banning anyone he brings up or calls him out on it. Check the Freely Talk About Jimmy subreddit, which is the one I'm reading, to learn more. If you like, feel free to repost this anywhere to let people know he will delete it. And again, he'll call that harassment. And again, I don't advocate leaving mass comments like that. I get the intent, but I think things are more along the lines of, hey, here's a video. I'm sharing this video, like this particular video. Or, hey, here's Cheshire's playlist. Share that. Tag a person here and there, add a hashtag. I think the word of mouth gets around. It's slow. It's slow because, even to this day, people are still like, Steve who when it comes to Jimmy? I'm like, Jimmy got to start, basically, from my show. And they're like, who's Kyle Curtis? It's like, wait a minute. So you know who Jimmy is, but you don't know who Kyle is? When they basically, again, not going to use the word conspire together, but certainly violated a cease and desist or demand letter, not to stream to the Non Sequitur show, and, missing $60,000 of funds. Come on. But by the way, if you haven't watched the Creepy Readings, 9 of the worst YouTubers that need to stop part 2, go watch it. Kyle Curtis is in there. He has a segment, and Creepshow Art, who again has, gone over way to troll my channel at one time, is in it as well. Let's see here. And by the way, it's funny. It's not one of her fans has asked me for an apology or apologized to me and asked me for my forgiveness. Not one of them. Not one of them have said, because her video had like 317,000 views about me. Not one of them said, "Hey Steve, I'm sorry I bought her into her bullshit," because she completely manipulated that video, took things out of context, and of course that's what she does. But not one of them had apologized. However, there was somebody else that apologized to me today, and I was very grateful for it. It was kind of unrelated. It was more along the Godless Engineer thing, and another friend that they had that I don't get along with that uses persecution porn, and they finally noticed it. But I appreciate the fact that when people say, "Look, I listened to bad information, but I've seen the light," so to speak, and they ask for forgiveness. That's fine. I don't mind that. I get it. I understand that. But certain people, they're unforgivable. They'll never be forgiven because they don't care to be forgiven. They'll go to their graves, and some of them literally will go to their graves because some of them supposedly are like dying of cancer, and yet, all they want to do is make troll videos. Okay. But, yeah, so, if you're one of those people like that were one of those Creepshow Heart fans that came over and trolled my video, I appreciate if you said, yeah, I wish I hadn't done that, because it was annoying. Okay, so let's see here. Edit. It may be good to say something on Twitter in a way people can find it, perhaps under hashtag Freely Talk About Jimmy or something along those lines. Yeah, use hashtags. There was no collusion. Yeah, thanks. No, again, Cheshire always looks for the worst more than I do, and I love that about her. I try to hope there's a semblance of humanity in some people, even though in some people there's not, and I know that. But in some cases, I do look for the best. I don't have the evidence to support even a subjective evaluation of Mr. Atheist having collusion or conspiracy with Kyle to take any money. He didn't get anything out of it. The channel maybe, and maybe it was, oh yeah, so Kyle can have the money and stuff like that, and then, you know, they can build each other up and support each other to build their channels. Maybe. But I do not think for a second that he wanted to know whether Kyle had the money or not. Because all he had to do was ask him, and he would have been scot-free. I would never have written anything further about it. I wouldn't have written my part two. I would have said, you know what? Okay, thank you, Jimmy. You did exactly what I asked you to do. You saw the money, and I believe you. If we would have found out later the money wasn't there, that would look really bad for him. But I was going to take him at his face value. I was going to. I wouldn't now. He told me he told me he found a penny on the floor. I would ask to see it. Do not directly message Jimmy Snow. Yeah, I agree with that too. Don't directly message people that you disagree with like this and that are blocked. If they've blocked you, don't message them. Stop that. I don't know why people do that. I really don't. If they blocked you, I had somebody the other day say, "Well, why don't you talk to this person?" They blocked me. It's like I'm not going to go out of my way to reach out to somebody who's blocked me. It just doesn't work that way. I hope I gave you a solid grasp on what's going on and a good jumping off point for anything else you want to look into. I can't tell you what to think or who to support, but I do want people to decide that for themselves based upon the fullest picture they can get. I agree with that. Remember, do not bully or harass anyone. I totally agree with that. And it's ironic that they think we're bullying people. No, I'm sharp with my words. I use words to get across my argumentation. I use logic. I use literally use logic, like prepositional and propositional, predicate logic, and things of that nature to show argumentations. I detest bullies. I detest harassment. So anybody tells you ever that anybody that watches me or follows me or a member of my channel or myself have harassed or bullied anybody, I will tell you right now they're lying. And all you got to do is say 3 words to them. Show me evidence. That's it. Show me evidence. Every single time they will do one of 2 things. They will just say it's out there. They'll call your names and they'll block you. Every time. It's ridiculous. If you want to leave feedback for anyone, please keep your heart in it and don't be cruel no matter how upset you are with them. Subjective. I mean, you shouldn't be cruel, but I think there's a right to get upset. I think Jimmy's fans have a right to be upset by the way he's treated them. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, I hope he never recovers, but I'm sure he will. I mean, they all get redemption arcs. Every one of those people get redemption arcs. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how bad of things come out about them. Doesn't matter. Redemption arc. Why? Because that's how reality TV works. Even the most heinous villain can be redeemed in reality TV, in fantasy world. So they think that happens on the internet too. It's like, oh, this person has to change their heart. They've seen the light. They've changed the ways. Jimmy has pulled that bullshit more times than I could possibly imagine. And I don't buy it for a second. Do I think that some people can change? Yes. But when that's your entire thing, when you fuck up and you're like, oh, I'm never going to do it again. Look at Kyle. I mean, personified. You know, oh yeah, he admitted all his mistakes, blah blah blah, and then he continues to lie to people, continues to manipulate the court, continues to give false testimony. That's not a person that wants absolution. That is not a person that actually believes they've done anything wrong. There should be no redemption of those people for him. They're not recalcitrant. All right. Please drink some water, do something kind for yourself, do something kind for someone else, and take care. Okay. Well, anyways, like I said, that's it in a nutshell. I think it's very well written. I think I had one other thing I wanted to show you guys, and I'll take some questions. So this is what Jimmy left. This is the Wayback Machine. This is what Jimmy left when it came to the whole non sequitur show matter. The two things underneath I'm not going to read, but they're on my blog. So if you go to the video description, they're there. It's on number 1, part 1. But he says, this is going to be my only statement on the matter. And I don't think he was kidding. He was like, I'm going to block anybody who asks me about this. Because he was trying to do historical revisionism. He did not want people to remind him that he supported a fraud. I was betrayed. And wrong about Kyle. After how many people had been telling him, hey, Jimmy, Kyle is doing unlawful things. He's being unethical. He's stealing money. Why are you supporting him? I was wrong about Kyle. Maybe you should have, actually been a skeptic like you pretend to be and said, hey, look, Kyle, I totally trust you, but I still need to be able to say that I've seen the money. What is wrong with that? I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, hey, Cheshire, I believe you, but I got to be able to tell people that I've seen it. Nothing wrong with that. I would expect no less. She does the same to me. Well, actually, she really doesn't, but I mean, she would. I don't know. I don't actually. I'm trying to think. Chess, have you ever came to me and said, hey, I just want to be able to say whether I've seen this or not? I don't remember. I don't think you have, but you would, is the point. This sucks, and to be honest, I am devastated by the loss of one of my best friends. Notice the manipulation here. Notice the narcissism. It's all about him. I was betrayed. I was wrong about Kyle. Meaning that, I had trusted somebody, they let me down, it's their fault. It's Kyle's fault. And he puts if you read what he wrote under here, it's Kyle's fault. He didn't do anything wrong. He believed a friend. He's vindicated. There's absolution there because it wasn't Jimmy's fault. It was Kyle's fault. This sucks. And to be honest, I am devastated. I am devastated by the loss of one of my best friends. If this doesn't show you that the character of Jimmy Snow, then I do not know what else will. And the fact that this has happened over and over again, it's happening now with the whole Rachel Oates and Gabby Hannah situation that is no different than what happened with Kyle. This is who Jimmy is. This is the cesspool that he waddles in. And he waddles in that cesspool with many other people that are exactly the same way. Especially the same people that said, I believe Kyle. And yet none of them apologized to me. None of them apologized to the fans of the Non Sequitur show. None of them said, we were sorry for falsely accusing you of fraud, medical fraud, harassment, sexual harassment. All these fucking things I was accused of. All of them were bullshit. Every fucking one of them. Yet not one person had said, I am sorry for believing that without evidence. That, to me, is unforgivable. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I mean, I don't know what else I could really tell you about Jimmy. If you got questions, message me directly or leave a comment. I will be doing, when I get back, if I ever get back, I don't even know. Who knows? But I will obviously be streaming in places where I go. I want to do like this, the cesspool. I want to talk about problematic YouTubers in a critical way, but using my subjective evaluation, because again, I am biased. I'm not going to say that I'm not. But I want to have the space potentially left blank, filled with somebody. Hopefully somebody new. I know there's a lot of people that wanted to like do stuff. I'm trying to bring in new friendly faces and reach out and trying to expand a little bit. So if you're somebody who's never been a co-host for a show, and I'm not going to do it regularly, I'm going to talk about each episodic, right? So if you want to say, hey, look, I want to stream this with you for this particular person, let me know. Okay, pick a person. I will dive into them. We'll look at them together, and then come on and do it with me. Then it'll promote your channel as compensation, right? Make sense? I think it's cool. That's kind of what this channel was about to begin with. It was helping other channels. So if you want to come on, you want to talk about something, let me know. We are going to try to, I think, start up some kind of debates again as well. I had a debate this Saturday, but it got postponed till Sunday in a couple weeks. But a lot of people have commented to me that they want to have debates, not discussions, but actual debates that kind of not quite what we've done before as discussions, right? But I mean, more of a debate, but we're all kind of talking about it, right? So it's the non sequitur type style, right? The style that I like doing. So, all right. So, what do you guys got for questions? If you got a question, leave it to me at greatdebatecommunity.com right here in the live chat, because that's the channel that I'm on. Chester says Steve thinks I care more than I do. She don't. But I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes here to, like I said, ask questions. It's let's see here. I started this at 3, so it's 94 minutes in. I think it is, give or take. But let's see. Steve's way too trusting. Sex ed. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I get that. I try to be trustworthy, and I try to be trusting, and I understand that. And I do need to be reined in sometimes. I understand. I got people telling me, "Hey, Steve." I just just the other day I was talking to somebody. They're like, "Steve, you're just wrong about this particular person. They're not a good person. They are a shitlord." And I'm like, "Well, I haven't seen that yet, though." And they might be right? I mean, they totally might be right. But I haven't seen it. So I'm like, what do I do? Because I know that feeling. I tried to explain to people before, hey, this person's a shitlord. And like, well, I haven't seen it. Okay, so I put myself in that situation. I said, look, I will take notice, right? I'll be hyper vigilant. I'll look for signs, right? That's the best you can do. And that's the same thing I've asked other people to do. You don't have to disassociate with people that you don't think are shitlords, right? Even if you do think they're shitlords, you don't have to. Do what the fuck you want. But, at least if I give them a heads up, they can look for signs, right? And that's all that Cheshire and I did on Caffeine Corner. And then to some degree, Judgment Call. We show people how to look for these signs. So, and I think that's why people don't like us in that side of the community, because they know we give people the tools to point out things exactly like this Reddit did, right? The person that wrote that Reddit clearly has those skill sets, clearly has those tools. Maybe they watched our stuff, Chesh. But they knew what they were doing, and they knew how to point it out. And I think that's why a lot of that group is so wanting to libel us and slander us and go after our credibility and say we're this and we're that and we're supporting rapists and we're supporting murderers and whatever the drama of the day is, right? And I'm sorry, I'm sweating here. I got the door closed and I have my fans off, so I apologize, but I'm really hot right now, so I'm going to end this really soon. But I think that they have to do that because they can't attack the arguments. They can't attack, my blog. And in this particular case, what I put out here at this video, I don't know how Jimmy would address it. I don't know what the hell he could say. And first of all, he's never going to. He's not going to address me because I'm low man on the totem pole now, which is why I can do this kind of stuff, and I don't really care anymore because I'm giving you guys my opinion. I have the evidence, I think, to back it. Make your own decisions, but Jimmy's not going to ever address it. Why would he? He's not going to bother. But it will show you guys that he's not willing to even address your concerns. I'm not a fan. He doesn't have to address my concern. You guys are the fans of Jimmy, and he's ignoring you and blocking you and not listening to you. That tells you all you need to know about Jimmy Snow. Seriously. All right, I'm going to wrap it up because it doesn't look like you've got much questions. I'm actually really surprised. I think that's actually good, I guess. I guess people will kind of get it. So like I said, I'm going to be definitely not streaming until, well, it's going to be a few days. So if you don't hear from me until next week, it's because I'm on the road. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. Please leave your comment. Please like. Please subscribe. Please share. Get the word out that I will be actively streaming on this channel in some point in the future here. But I'm going to do, like I said, this kind of content on this channel, debates on this channel, and then I'm going to keep the more philosophical stuff and the science stuff on my main channel where I can review them on that kind of level, right? So this is a little bit more lowbrow stuff. I get it, right? But people always say, Steve, I hate this content. I want to see more of this. And the other people say, I want this and that. At least this way it's differentiated. If you want to watch the philosophy and the science stuff, watch my main channel. If you want to watch me being hypercritical and much more subjective with my personal bias, because I fully admit that I have, but I'll give you my personal feelings and I'll tell you the way I think it is, then it'll be this channel and also debates in this channel. Or watch both or watch neither. Your call. All right. Good night, guys.